CJ, what was kind of the message from Coach in the locker room after this one and just the overall feel amongst you guys?
I mean, it was a horrible showing. I think we just got to do a better job, and it starts with, our approach days before the game, how we're executing in practice, how our walkthroughs are going. I think it's just urgency. There's a lot of things that we just got to get better at execution-wise, even when there's nobody on the floor, when there's no crowd, when there's no opponent. We got to get better, and all of that carries over to performances like tonight. So I think it's just from top to bottom, we all got to be better. We can't have these types of showings, especially at home in front of our home crowd. It was a horrible game, a horrible performance, from myself all the way down to the last guy.
And you joined that team later in the season that started off 3-16. What do you think it takes to kind of, recover from something like that and not have that feeling that, we're too far back to kind of make up this type of gap?
Yeah, I mean, it starts with practice. It starts with your approach to practice, and obviously we're not going to have a lot of practices, because of the schedule, because of the travel. So when we get shoot-arounds, when we have those moments where we can get better at things, we have to take advantage of it, and then it has to carry over to the game. And you're going to lose games, but we can't lose how we did tonight. I think that's the difference, right? We got to be able to compete. You got to be able to execute the game plan and give yourself a chance to win games. And we've done it in the past, and now we have to do it at a high level immediately because, there's not a lot of time. And in the Western Conference, you can't get too far behind.
And not too often we hear, booze in this building from the fans.
Yeah.
What's kind of the thought going through your mind when you kind of heard that in the second half?
We deserved it. We deserved it, man. I'm a fan of sports. I play the game, obviously. I watch a lot of games, and they pay their hard-earned money to watch us perform at a high level, and we didn't do that tonight. And it's not about making and missing shots. Obviously, we got to do better at that. I have to be better at that, and I will. We're putting the time in. I'm putting the time in to be able to contribute and help. But I think it's everything. It's a combination of, defensively, the rotations, the rebounding. It's a lot that we got to get better at. And, this was a lot of slippage tonight. And we're going to go up against some really good teams on this road trip. So we got to tighten up, and I'll be better, and our team will be better.
So we've all seen plenty of NBA games where one team shoots unusually well from three, and the game just kind of gets away from the other team. It sounds like you don't think this was that.
I mean, it was a lot of things. They hit 21 threes, and they're, a bottom 5 3-point shooting team in the NBA. So either they got better overnight, or we got to do a better job of closing out and making it more difficult. But you got to credit them. They played well. I think the end of the second quarter, the third quarter hurt us, and that's when the game kind of shifted. We played them essentially even in the fourth, but the game was over, right? So got to do a better job of tightening it up in the quarters. And defensively, we got to make guys feel us out there. It's we want fouls on offense, but then on defense, we're not being aggressive. So we got to do a better job being aggressive and putting the onus on the referees to call fouls, similar to what the teams are doing to us.
And to what extent would you say this performance is just kind of a one-off, like a bad night, or is it maybe to some extent symptomatic of just this difficult stretch that you've been going through for several weeks?
I mean, this is my second game back, so I think, for us, it's guys have been in and out of the lineup. There's been a lot of changes, consistently hard to establish rhythms and rotations, so I think that plays a factor, but this was just a bad game that we can't have, and we got a chance to move forward and be better on this road trip.
CJ, what does your next 40 hours look like? As one of the leaders of the team, how do you lift up everybody around you? How do you get everybody on the same page, prepared, ready for Memphis?
Yeah, well, it's Thanksgiving, so everybody's going to be able to hopefully enjoy some time with their families before we get on a plane. Later that evening tomorrow, we'll land. We'll have a team dinner together, be able to kind of talk and get away from the game a little bit, and then it'll be back to game plan and walking through stuff with an earlier game on Friday. But it's just more about communication, and it's just more about a sense of urgency and understanding that time is ticking. We're 4 and whatever, and it ain't getting no easier.
Is one of the best things you can do just to get back on the court to try and make a tone, put this memory way behind you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a combination. We're not going to have practice tomorrow. Obviously, it's Thanksgiving, and then we have to fly. So it's just about being around each other, being able to kind of talk, not just about the game, obviously, but about life. And then that accountability, it goes to a higher level when you have those types of relationships, right? When you're able to meet somebody off the court and be able to hang out off the court, I think it makes the accountability better and the trust better. So I think we're getting there, and obviously guys have been in and out. This is DJ's first game back. Everybody's trying to get in rhythm, trying to establish a better sense of a better cadence, and the coaching staff is continuing to have to adjust, right? Because guys have been in and out of the lineup since the season started, since the first day of training camp.
What's the process been like with you kind of getting acclimated with DJ, obviously, between, practice, offseason, whatever, but now obviously getting to play in just a few games with him? What's that like, and what do you think's got to happen for y'all to be able to kind of gel?
Yeah, I mean, we both got injured. He got injured in the first game of the season, and I got injured, so we didn't have as much time as we would have liked together. And then, rehabbing and then trying to ramp up and get back out there to help our guys. He obviously, came back around the 4-week mark. I came back, around like the 4-week mark basically. And it's going to take time, and it's unfortunate, that this has happened, but I think we'll be better from it. This is a lot of adversity because of the injuries, obviously the record, but talking about a guy that loves basketball. He works hard. He treats the game that you're supposed to treat it, and usually the game comes back to you when you do things the right way. So I think for us, it's about continuing to have the dialogue, continuing to hold each other accountable, continuing to play off of each other, and the more reps we can get, the better. But you're talking about us, playing one game in October and then playing our second game together in November, with it being his first game and it being my second game back from injury. So we're getting better each day from a communication standpoint. And I think it'll transition into us playing better basketball collectively as a team.
Thanks, CJ.
Happy Thanksgiving.